On June 10, 2023, Erling Haaland lifted the first Champions League trophy in Man City history, the final piece of an historic treble that concludes one of the best individual seasons we've ever seen from a professional footballer. A season that left records broken, laws of physics suspended, and critics absolutely speechless, as we likely bore witness to the next winner of the Ballon d'Or. But what makes the 22-year-old Norwegian the best striker in the world? How does Haaland compare to his contemporaries, and what can his underlying numbers teach us? Today we analyze data from the Premier League and Champions League in search of the answer. So stat lovers, check in as we dissect the year Erling Haaland broke football. Welcome back, guys. You're watching the Sideline Starters, and my name is Andy, first team all sideline. We're almost at 5K subs, so if you're new around here, hit that red button, and once you've done that, let's get started. About once a day and twice on Sunday, I'm told that the Premier League is the best league on planet Earth. And while I'm sure that's bound to cause a debate in the comment section, the fact that Erling conquered England in his debut season is undebatable, amassing 36 goals and 8 assists in 35 appearances, a goal total that saw Erling sit comfortably atop the scoring table for not just this season, but every season in Premier League history, as he broke the record set by modern-day great Mohamed Salah and knocked Luis Suarez down to third. But Haaland's 36 goals weren't just the best in the country, they were the best in the world, as he outperformed all of the top goal scorers across the top 5 major European leagues. Haaland was the deadliest domestic goal scorer in the world this year, and was awarded with Premier League Player of the Season and Young Player of the Season honors, harkening back to when Cristiano Ronaldo and Gareth Bale won both PFA equivalents in a single season too. Arriving from Borussia Dortmund in the Bundesliga and shattering all conceivable expectations in his first season will leave an impact on England that we'll be looking back on for years. But the impact he had on the Man City squad compared to the rest of his teammates is much more quantifiable, as his goal total is more than triple that of second place Phil Foden and quadruples third place Julian Alvarez. Haaland's 36 goals actually make up 38% of Man City's goals scored this season, a contribution percentage that's only behind Harry Kane, who's responsible for 42% of Tottenham's goals, which is a consequence of Spurs being awful this season more than anything else. And speaking of being awful, Erling even managed to score more goals than the entire Wolverhampton and Everton squad, and just as many as all of Southampton. And to put those numbers into perspective, Transfermarkt.com estimates the total market value of the Wolves squad at 407 million euros, and Everton's squad at 352 million, while Haaland's value is estimated to be 170. So the fact that City were able to sign him from Dortmund for just 60 million in the summer makes him the steal of the century. But not even Haaland could have seen such levels of success coming so quickly.
I expected to do good things, but to do this I didn't quite expect, and yeah, I'm happy.
And Erling exceeding expectations can be quantified as well, with Opta Analytics showing us he significantly outperformed his expected goal total of 28.7, which is a result of Erling scoring goals that neither we or even XG Science expect him to. And you can add a laundry list of shattered records on top of those shattered expectations, with Haaland's name now etched right next to the most goals and assists in a Premier League season, quickest player to reach 3 hat-tricks, quickest player to reach 4 hat-tricks, and most league goals scored in a season as mentioned before. But his most impressive individual achievement has to be the single-season goal-scoring record for a Premier League club, a record that takes performances across all competitions into account. Which brings us to our analysis of Erling in Europe. As dominant as Erling has been in England, Man City didn't sign him to win another Premier League. Make no mistake, they brought him in to win the club's first ever Champions League trophy, an objective Haaland was well aware of when he signed.
You can read between the lines, but I'm here to try to help the club develop even more, to try to win the Champions League for the first time.
And while he didn't have the best performance in the final himself, Haaland was City's standout player throughout the entire competition this season, scoring 12 goals and assisting once in 11 Champions League appearances, with that goal total placing him on top of the Champions League scoring table by a comfortable margin, which should have come as no surprise, given that Haaland made a name for himself in this competition as a teenager, scoring 23 goals in 19 Champions League appearances across 3 seasons with Salzburg and Borussia Dortmund. The nature of the competition scheduling mean that Champions League games come few and far in between. So for a player to be so consistent throughout sporadic samples of the season is beyond impressive, especially when we take a closer look at his minutes. Erling played over 1,400 minutes in the Champions League for Salzburg and Dortmund. Take his game time and divide it by the number of goals he scored, and we find that Erling was averaging a goal every 63 minutes he was on the pitch. And to show you just how ludicrous that is, Cristiano Ronaldo averaged a goal every 85 Champions League minutes during his peak at Real Madrid, while Messi averaged a goal every 102 minutes while at Barcelona. Now obviously Messi and Ronaldo have a much larger sample size than Erling, and keeping up with the GOATs is borderline impossible. But that's the kind of potential Man City saw in him, and if Haaland's goal-to-minute ratio in his first Champions League campaign with City is anything to go by, he just might be the man to follow in Messi and Ronaldo's footsteps. After all, he's already tied one of Messi's most legendary Champions League records, as he became the third player in history to score 5 goals in a single game, after he single-handedly demolished RB Leipzig in the second leg of the round of 16. Haaland's ability to maneuver around the penalty area looks shockingly similar to Ronaldo in his prime, but don't take it from me. Take it from the guy who played with him.
That little movement, them darting runs, he is like Ronaldo. Again, doesn't want to get too involved, but when it comes in the box, he is alive.
But as efficient as he is inside the box, he can cover the entire pitch outside of it in the blink of an eye with his blistering pace. His gargantuan frame also helps him dominate his aerial duels and facilitates excellent hold-up play, making him a headache for defenders on the off chance he isn't scoring. And Haaland would use all of these traits for the rest of City's Champions League campaign, as Bayern Munich arrived in the Etihad for the quarter-finals, with Champions League winners, World Cup champions, and football heritage decorating their entire lineup. But with Haaland in the squad now, City embarrassed the Bavarians with a 3-0 victory, with Haaland assisting City's second goal, and scoring their third himself to seal the game off. A matchup with Real Madrid in the semis appeared to be City's greatest test in Europe thus far, but wound up resembling a practice exam by the time the second leg was over. And although Haaland didn't score across both legs, he was arguably City's most dangerous player throughout, and barring a Thibaut Courtois masterclass would have stolen all the headlines as per usual. A chess match between Simone Inzaghi and Pep Guardiola led to an incredibly cagey final, with Haaland held goalless by Inter Milan, as City's defensive midfielder Rodri of all people scored the game winner. But Haaland was understandably indifferent to his individual performance.
On a good day, I think I could have scored 2 goals, but in the end, I really don't care about that right now, to be honest.
City bought Haaland to win the Champions League, and by the end of his first season, the Norwegian was a European treble winner. But we're not done with our analysis just yet. As the confetti finishes falling and the sky blue smoke evaporates from Mancunian parades, I'm still sitting here going through Haaland's numbers, and I've saved his most ludicrous stats for last. Haaland was quite literally the most prolific forward in the world last season, posting the best possible percentiles amongst forwards in total goals, non-penalty goals, and goals and assists per 90. Meaning his stats in those categories were better than 99% of forwards across the top 5 leagues, in addition to also having elite percentiles for shots on target and goals per shot. But my brain was on the verge of melting out of my ears when I started analyzing his efficiency, a strength we can gauge by looking at how often a forward touches the ball, as Erling posts percentiles nearing rock bottom for total touches, carries, and total carrying distance per 90 amongst forwards. And just so we have a better understanding of those numbers, here's how Erling's stats compare to Kylian Mbappe, who's virtually the best in the world in all those metrics mentioned. This means that Erling Haaland is scoring more goals than anyone else while simultaneously taking fewer touches than almost anyone else as well. Last time I checked, the definition of efficient was achieving maximum productivity with minimum wasted effort or expense. But from this day forward, I demand we change that definition to just a photo of Haaland's face. The man is a robot, a cheat code, or any other name that football Twitter can come up with. But after this season, we might just have to call him the best player in the world. We've simply never seen a goal scorer at this age be this efficient, this consistent, and this decorated since Lionel Messi won the Ballon d'Or at 22 years old, which is the same age Haaland is right now. And who knows, after finishing as the Premier League and Champions League top scorer, on the way to completing the continental treble, maybe football's most prestigious individual honor will welcome a new winner come next winter. And that's all I got for today. Don't forget to comment, subscribe, and smash the like button if you want to see more video essays like these. And for more Premier League content, you can click right here. Till next time, everyone.